Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richie Unicorn Caller here, and long time no see. It has been a while, and let me tell you guys that we got some pretty crazy news happening. We have a really big patch that is coming soon. Well, basically tomorrow. It is big, man. It's a little bit vague, but I think that's what makes it so huge, you know? So, without further ado, we're going to jump right into the patch notes. We're back with the news. You know, we've been waiting practically like a month for something to happen, especially those patch notes that they were talking about concerning the Novus loot drop acquisition and stuff like that. You know, we've been waiting a long time, so yeah, I'm excited to read all about this. Let's get right into it. All right. Some of the following may have also been noted above in the main notes. So here it is, February 1st, 2023. Maintenance is going to start at 2 a.m. their time, at whatever time they're at. But anyway, we're getting a maintenance, we're getting a patch, and dude, this one's big. This first one is huge. This one's super vague, and I think a lot of people are not going to be happy. I feel like it's going to be a mixture of people that are happy, and then a lot of people are not going to be happy. But for gear, there's going to be multiple gear sets that have had their stats adjusted to include end-of-content gear, world pack gear, and several crowns sets. So this is like a gear audit, I guess, times 2 in a sense. And you know, we talked about them changing stats and stuff like that, and you know, there is the rumor that the Malistaire robe or just the Malistaire set entirely could be seeing some stat adjustments. Now that is just a rumor. We don't know what gear sets or gear stats that they are going to make, because this is a very vague patch. Like, there's no specific gear, right? We don't know that yet. So, yeah, a little scary, but I'm a little excited in a sense. I mean, I personally don't use Malistaire, but I know some Storm Wizards really like the Malistaire robe because the Malistaire robe is pretty good. But, yeah, if Malistaire does get touched as one of the gear sets, then I guess I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. It's gonna be crazy. You know, and hopefully, and I saw a comment on this on Twitter. I retweeted it, but hopefully, you know, in the future we can get a little bit more detailed notes, or you know, maybe when the update does come in, or when the patch notes, or you know, do come in, maybe they can be a little bit detailed with it, because you know, we don't know what kind of gear is gonna be getting you know, their stats adjusted. So it usually takes a lot of time for people scrambling around, or you know, the help of data miners to just see what has changed and you know, what values have changed and stuff like that. But that is a pretty big one. The next one is also a pretty big one. All right, they adjusted the Novus loot and gear acquisition system. So this is awesome. We're gonna get increased drops, or at least a better drop rating in Novus. Not only that, but we're also gonna get that pity system we've been talking about. You know, they've done it in Caramel, I think, and I think they've done it with Dragoon farming as well. And then for some reason they just kind of stopped at Novus. They were trying to change some things differently, but you know, I can safely say that I really did not like farming Novus. I don't really think anybody liked farming Novus, you know, before the glitches and stuff like that. But yeah, Novus is not fun. It's not fun farming it. I mean, I'd rather farm Malistaire than Novus. I'd rather farm Dragoon. Like, I'd rather farm anything else, but that, even when I was doing the 4-day farming for that one Windstorm jewel, even that was a little bit more fun because I was getting some jewels that I could genuinely need. But with Novus, I'm getting a lot of gear that I don't need, and I can't craft anything. So, you know, hopefully with this new gear acquisition, it will be easier to get that new loot, and hopefully that could be the standard for the upcoming world and the future of the game, because you don't really want players to be farming for weeks or even months, you know, on end, especially when people are barely having enough time to even play the game, you know. And I say this to all my raiders, you know, always sign up for the raid if you can dedicate the full 3 hours. Like, if you can't do the full 3 hours of the raid, then, you know, you're not really going to get much out of it. So, yeah. Hopefully that's just the standard for not just Novus, but like pushing forward. You know, just let players have a little bit of accessibility, you know? I say that all the time. Accessibility over exclusivity. You know, you always want to be flexible with your stuff, alright? And not talking about that, let's talk about this next one. Arc Mastery Jewels have been added to the Novus Jewel Vendor. Alright, so you can go to the Novus Jewel Vendor and check out the Arc Mastery Jewels from there. I didn't even know there was a Novus Jewel Vendor. I have not been keeping up with Novus, honestly. Spells! Now this one's pretty interesting. They've continued the spell audit, and the spell audit is going to cover balance, lore, and shadow enhanced spells. Alright, so balance wizards, keep an eye out for this. So that's going to be the continued spell audit. I'm excited to see what's up with that. The scales of destiny damage has been reduced. They fixed several spell bugs to include Colossus, Oni's Attrition, and Reap of Whirlwind. Those are some of them. And then they fixed several treasure card bugs to include Thunder Snake and Leprechaun tiered treasure cards. They've added a card. I'm sorry. Let me read that again. The add the card to hand will cast pet talents have had their max uses per duel increased to 3. Alright, so that's pretty cool. I think that's a buff pretty much if you're using the will cast talents for pets. Now for combat, this one's pretty cool. The Basil and the Brigand and the Tantrum boss fights have had their difficulty reduced. Yeah, those bosses were... Yeah, those solo bosses were kind of iffy. But yeah, hopefully you guys managed to do that. Several pre-Novus bosses and polymorphs have been updated with level-appropriate Arc Mastery rating. Interesting. They've made small tweaks to the Aeon of Atavis fight, which is basically, I believe, the last fight of Novus, where you're basically polymorphed for about like 20 rounds, and you know, honestly, it's just not a fun boss fight. I mean, I respect the design. Like, I think it was cool when it first launched, but you know, after you're farming it for a couple of hours, it's kind of very boring. I wouldn't even say boring, it's just kind of like agitating, you know? And then at the end of that boss fight, like, you only get like, what, 1 loot drop out of that whole thing? Like 30-minute battle, like 15 to 30-minute battle, you know? It's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, again, hey, don't listen to me, man, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah, they've made some tweaks to that final boss fight, so hopefully whatever that small tweak is, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, very, very, very vague patch notes, but again, that's why I'm sort of excited, slightly excited, you know? And then the henchmen and minion actions will not trigger Novus boss cheats. That's pretty cool. Alright, so we got some miscellaneous. So the Super Lore Pack Spellmints drop rates have been increased. That's awesome in case you're trying to get some Spellmints. The Drawless Victory Badge condition has been updated and should now be acquirable. Joining guilds through the social kiosk should now work properly. That was bugged for a while, man. That was a really big bug. But yeah, glad they fixed that. So now after this patch rolls out, if you want to go to the social kiosk and look for any guilds, you can now join those guilds. Now remember that it's the same thing with adventure parties. When you are joining these groups through the social kiosk, you're basically set as like this temporary member type of thing. So you basically need like the guild leader to promote you to, like, you know, a provisional person, or, you know, basically promote you to someone permanent, you know. But it is a nice feature to have in case you wanted to explore guilds. So definitely recommend that. And then additional polish to some Novus environments, and they've corrected several text errors in quests and badges. So that is the entire patch notes for February 1st, and I am so happy. It has been, dude, I've been sitting here just chilling, playing video games. I know, I'm playing other video games besides Wizard101. And I was waiting for this patch note. Like, I was really waiting because, you know, Novus, like I've said many times, it's, I don't know, I like it. I thought the theme of it was pretty cool, but it got soured by the boss loot drops and the grinding. The grinding was not fun. It really was not fun. And I think that what they need to do, again, I don't know like what their philosophy is for video games, but I think the more that they kind of push towards this more like grindy method type of thing, the more that they're gonna push players away, like myself, you know, because, you know, personally for me, I just don't got time for all of that. I mean, I'm still gonna dedicate some time for it, but at the end of the day, do I want to go back to Novus? Absolutely not. And, you know, it's pretty crazy because I was actually doing a bunch of, you know, team-ups, and, you know, I'm doing team-ups everywhere, you know, Marleybone and what else, Polaris. I'm starting to do Polaris now, and, you know, it's so fun doing all of these other old worlds and, you know, getting all these loot drops and stuff like that, you know, showing all these people these, you know, new spells and stuff like that. I even enjoy doing Darkmoor a lot of the time because Darkmoor, I think, was like one of my last favorite like content drops. I think it was in the game. Like after that, you know, I don't know, I just don't really care much for it. But yeah, I've been having fun doing some of the low level stuff, but when it comes to high level stuff, I really just, I don't know, it's like a sour taste in my mouth. Like being a high level kind of sucks, you know, and I don't want that feeling to happen anymore. And, you know, we've done raids. I've done raids with the guild. We've been doing lots of raids with the guild. But it just comes to a time where, you know, it feels like a full-time job. And it can get very, very exhausting doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, you know, just doing all of that, it can get draining. And it can get unhealthy. I honestly can get unhealthy. And that's why, especially, at least with my guild, I've heard crazy stories from all the other guild people be like, oh my goodness, this guild is so strict and stuff like that. And, you know, here's my thing. With my guild personally, we usually just kind of like raid at least like once or twice a week. Possibly, you know, the weekdays a lot of people are busy, and, you know, this applies to, you know, the game developers for Wizard101, or, you know, just the company in general. When they are launching these updates, or when they're slacking on updates, they have to understand that a lot of people are going to be in school, a lot of people are going to be in work, and a lot of people are just generally going to be busy. All right, people got babies, all right, people are like, you know, mothers and fathers and stuff like that. People are in the military. You know, people got stuff to do. And when it came to Novus, it really wasn't healthy the way that they changed that whole loot drop thing, you know? And the same thing concerning raids. CheerValX made in a great video talking about raids and stuff like that. She's awesome. Make sure you guys subscribe to her. And, you know, she's mentioning all this other stuff and the same things I've been saying for like the past months about raids and guilds, you know? So it's just going to take them it's going to take them time to polish out everything. But I think before they release an update, they really should listen to community feedback a lot more, right? I'm so happy about this patch. Do I think it could have came earlier? Yeah, but I'm just glad that we're getting it now instead of like a year, or, you know, pushing it back to the spring update. Which, the spring update, we still have to wait for the spring update. I don't know what they're going to do for the spring update, but hopefully, crossing my fingers, we get any guild updates. Maybe, you know, expanding the guild slots. Maybe can get 100 members in it or something like that. Maybe see some raid changes or something. I don't know, but whatever it is, we're just going to have to wait and see. I think from now on, I'm just going to wait and see instead of getting my expectations too high. Because when I think, oh, yeah, I'm so excited for this update, and I'm like, oh, wow, this update sucks, you know? So, anyways, that's that. And concerning raids, I've been raiding with my guild, you know, just been chilling lately. Yeah, we've been doing pretty good. I've just been chilling lately, just waiting for news, but that pretty much wraps it up for everything. I'll keep you noted on those gear set changes because I feel like Atmoplex will know like what gear sets have been changed and stuff like that. You know, Atmoplex, you know, they do a great job kind of finding this type of information. So I'll definitely check them out, just see what happens. And until then, I will see you guys later. Peace out. And this dude is just casting in front of me. You're so rude, Paul. You're so rude, Paul. You just do that in front of me, man. Like right in front of me, man. Alright, you know, I respect that. I respect Paul. I respect Paul. But that ends the video. I'm going to see you guys later. And yeah, peace out.